Have you ever looked for the perfect piece of land for like a dream home? Maybe it was like for an investment. Check it out, check it out. Ta-da! Look at this. Look at that. Is this not like one of the most beautiful places you've ever, dude, my heart is racing with excitement right now over all of that juicy real estate. Well, the reality is, my friend, that is called land. And a lot of people want to know, Chris, is land a good investment? Is it a bad investment? Are there better investments? Today, I'm breaking it all down. Land, a good investment? Come find out.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Over the years, I've had the chance to review the finances of literally over 10,000 people. And you know what? Most people have some money in a 401k, maybe it's money in an IRA. They've been working on paying off their house, but quite often I find that people own land.
Huge tracts of land.
Sometimes it was for a future cabin, maybe it was for building a dream house. Often, it's just an investment. They literally bought land thinking, over time, this is gonna go up in value, right? So for the record, land is definitely real property. It's real estate. And because I've done over $1 billion of real estate, that makes me what you might call an expert. In fact, recently, I became an international landowner. My wife, for my birthday, bought me 18 square inches of land in Ireland. So technically, I'm a lord. I guess that would officially make me a landlord. Okay, that's a horrible dad joke. But seriously, what do you need to know before you actually buy land? Let's define real estate. Check it out. Real estate is a term that refers to physical land, but also the structures that are on it and the resources that are attached to it. So when I say I'm in real estate, that could mean that I own 480 acres of farmland out there that's been in my family for 30 years, and I've been a poor farmer my whole life, and now I'm gonna sell it and be like a megalomillionaire. It could also mean that I have a bunch of rentals, or maybe I flip property, or I own commercial real estate. So ultimately, real estate just means everything. So let's define it a little bit deeper. There are 3 types of real estate. You have raw land. You remember all that land out here? That is untouched land. It's raw. It actually hasn't been developed yet. A developer would need to come in and frankly drop probably millions of dollars on that hillside to put in road and sewer, electrical, work with the city, basically get it ready that it could be developed, whether for commercial uses or out here for a cabin or for residential uses. That's first of all what raw land is. You have developed land. Check this out. This is a developed lot. It doesn't have a house yet. Looks like someone bought it. But look at this. I've got my sewer right down here with my water. I've got my electrical right here. Look, I got my curb, I got my gutter. This land is ready for someone to pop a house on it. It's developed. Developers often put $30,000, $40,000 to basically get a chunk of land parceled out, set up, and ready to go so that you could put some kind of structure on it. And you have property. You see this land, it's not just been developed, someone actually put a house on it. And this makes this a lot more valuable because someone is actually buying the house that's on it. They could rent it out or just make money literally selling it. Dude, just leave the sweater. Dude, will you guys do me a favor? Please do not comment below about this sweater. I get razzed all the time. It's cold out here. You can see that, right? This is my lumberjack jam. Oh, hey, check it out. We're gonna play a game right now. It is called Best to Invest. We're actually gonna compare land against property. We're gonna do that in 5 major ways, and ultimately we're asking this question. Land or property? What is the better investment? The first thing you need to evaluate to understand whether property or land makes more sense as an investment is understand scarcity, which has to do with how rare is the resource. Is a house more rare or is land more rare? Well, here it is. Land is a lot more rare than property. Why? Because there's houses out there, right? People can buy houses, but land, Mark Twain said it best, they are not making any more of it. My second criteria, cash flow. Does my real estate produce income? Here we go. Land versus property. Land does not produce a cash flow in most instances. I mean, a farmer might lease it for a little bit for their cows to graze, but for the most part, it's not bringing in serious money. Property, on the other hand, it's pretty much built to make money. The third criteria, appreciation, which means, does the real estate value actually go up with time? Well, on land and property, guess what? Both of those increase over time. That's a plus for both. Land versus property, the fourth criteria, depreciation. Or in other words, can I claim loss on my taxes? A ton of people get in the game of real estate because they want to have write-offs. Did you know that land and property behave very differently? For example, with land, there is no depreciation. There's no write-offs. However, with property, once you actually put a structure on the land, over a 28 period of time, you can write it off. So imagine taking its total value, dividing it by 28 little pieces, and that turns into usually thousands of dollars. You get to write that off against your income, likely saving a ton of money. And finally, number 5, effort. How much work am I going to have to put into the land or the property to get a good ROI? Well, check it out. Effort on land, super high, especially if it's raw. Like you have to put in time and money and work with the city and get plans and civil engineering. With property, hey, do you want to rent it for more than what my expenses are and then I just make money? Bottom line is, property is a lot easier to work with and frankly a lot faster to work with. Your opinions on land might actually be cooling off, kind of like this room. You see, with land, look at all those strikes against it. No cash flow, you can't depreciate it, you can't write off the interest, you have the effort, it takes a lot more work. At the end of the day, do I actually buy land and win? Well, I want to tell you, some people do. And historically, here's how they've done it. Think of the person that sold all of those thousands of acres to Walt Disney for Disney World all those years ago, Florida in the 60s. I'm sure they made bank. So typically what you get are farmers that have been stewards of the land, and their retirement after living in poverty often or living super poor is that when they sell that land, just at the bottom of this hill, there's a farmer about to sell hundreds of acres, and guess what? He's asking $23 million. He's going to have his day in the sun. So if you're patient, and if you're willing to wait a long time, and if you'll make sure your land is in the path of progress where the city's finally going to get to, you could, in time, in theory, win. I guess at the end of the day, you can make almost any type of real estate profitable, and you're going to have to develop your bias. I call it a standard. You see, when you look at this, ROI, your return on investment, it really comes down to not just what makes the most money, but what works for your risk tolerance, what works for the amount of effort. If it's hard, maybe it's easier for you. Maybe you have some unfair advantage in the game. For me, I've got standards when I play the game of real estate. And trust me, I've done almost every type of deal that's out there, and I've developed standards for what makes me the very most money in the game of real estate. And you want to know what it is? I buy single family homes in the best markets. I hold them for 5, 6, 7 years. And then I sell them, doubling my portfolio, and every 5 years, everything doubles. And in time, it just turns into an avalanche. Like it's exponentially amazing. Here are my standards. I will only touch real estate that takes the least amount of time, the least amount of effort, the least amount of risk, has the most profit, works in up and down markets, and provides a valuable service. Those are my 6 standards. You can comment below and share some of what your standards are, but no matter what, don't comment on my sweater if you don't like it. Because if you do, you're not allowed to be one of my fans, friends, or subscribers. You're also blacklisted from coming to my events. I'm serious. Don't mess with my lumberjackness. You know, after all these years of investing and doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of deals, I have fine-tuned my standards to literally lock in the highest ROIs I've ever seen. Even in 2008 when the market bottomed out, within 5 years, we made our first $100 million in Phoenix, Vegas, off of that real estate. It's happening again right now. If you're not in the game of real estate and you don't know how to play it, I want you to click the link below, because I'm going to share with you my secret to wealth in the best markets for hands-off turnkey real estate. It's called Crone Consortium. It will walk you through my last several thousand deals, and basically it's going to show you how to copycat my results, because I share where I buy real estate specifically, exactly how I buy it. And if you get your hands on any real estate like that, I promise you in the next 5 years, you will be among the biggest winners in the game of real estate in terms of ROI. If you don't have your copy, click the link below. Let me show you my shortcuts, and I'll show you how to kill it in real estate. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. Check it out. If you're newish to the game of real estate, I made this video right here sharing 7 tips for how to make sure you buy that next property the right way, especially if it's one that you're gonna live in. Check it out.